Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to read you the most wonderful thing you've heard all day. GOP committee sources told Fox News that just 8 of the 81 agencies, entities, and individuals that were sent requests actually met the Monday timeline. Their requests came as Congressman Nadler's probe into, quote, alleged obstruction of justice, public corruption, and other abuses of power by President Trump announced earlier this month. The request came as part of Nadler's probe into, quote, alleged obstruction of justice, public corruption, and other abuses of power by President Trump, announced earlier this month. Only 8 of the 81 agencies, the majority of individuals and groups targeted in the House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler's sweeping request for documents as part of the expansive, because the Mueller probe wasn't expansive enough. Because when they got Manafort for jaywalking 30 years ago and buying an ostrich feather jacket, that wasn't enough. We have to make it more expansive. Money flowing into the Clinton Foundation amid Russian uranium deal. No. Don't connect the dots. That's just an altruistic endeavor. That happened because people were they just wanted to be nice to humanity and give money to the Clinton Foundation, and then just suddenly, miraculously, 20% of U.S. uranium capacity was sold to Vladimir Putin, a hostile foreign power. But this is fantastic news. White House ignores House panel's request for documents. Democrats say, good. Why don't you go ask William Barr to make Trump abide by your requests? He's only been the target of essentially a soft coup, trying to oust the president with a dossier that was purchased by Hillary Clinton and a CrowdStrike tech firm that was outsourced by Democrats. The United States government has zero intelligence that Trump committed any crimes, can't even accuse Trump of a specific crime. There's no evidence that he colluded with Russia to buy Facebook ads or hack the DNC to inform the country that Bernie Sanders was cheated. Now the Democrats in Congress, after 2 years of a complete and utter failure, now they want new investigations simply to annoy and harass and undermine and torment a president that was elected despite being outspent 2-1. Hillary Clinton spent $1.2 billion. Trump, $600 million. She raised $1.2 billion. He raised $600 million. He won. Now they want to do away with the Electoral College. They want the popular vote because they have all of media. She outspent Trump 2-1, and they still didn't win. Then they went after Trump with a fabricated hoax, a bogus, nonsensical, irrational, just absurd, comical, really the essence of just, fantasy that he worked with Putin to hack the DNC, whereas Clinton used an unencrypted server with top secret and special access program intelligence outside of the United States government that even President Obama allegedly didn't know about, or his NSA didn't know about. Yeah, right. That's not only Espionage Act violations, but you're looking at 18 U.S. Code 371, a conspiracy of individuals, James Comey, Andrew McCabe, Peter Strzok, all of these people. But the White House has ignored more than a dozen letters requesting documents from House Democrats. Yes! House Democrat chairman investigating President Trump since the party took control in January. Good. Setting up a clash that could escalate into subpoenas or even court battles. Oh, so what? Get the DOJ. Go petition William Barr. William Barr has already defended President Trump with his national emergency declaration. And that's with Republicans. Now, I'm not saying trust Barr, he could be in other sessions, but already he's turning out to be a lot better. So Clinton eventually is going to get indicted. I do believe she's running. She's running, ladies and gentlemen. Beto O'Rourke isn't like chewing on soil, whatever the new thing he did. I'm not joking. Look it up. and Amy Klobuchar isn't eating salad with a comb, and Kamala Harris isn't inhaling, and who cares what Kristen Gillibrand's doing? Nobody even, and Elizabeth Warren isn't failing a DNA test for her health. Okay, and Bernie Sanders already is not only, I don't even want to get into Bernie. He's like almost zero chance of winning. If you wanted Bernie Sanders, you should have listened to me in 2016 and said not voting for any Democrat aside from Bernie. That's it. That's the only way he would have won. Well, whatever. It was rigged. W. Wasserman Schultz resigned in disgrace. Anyway, that's a whole other. I'm voting for Trump 2020. President Trump. Peace between North and South Korea. A great economy. 467,000 manufacturing jobs created. We can go on and on. Prison reform legislation. He's bringing Americans home from 2 theaters of conflict. And if you say, well, he's not. Well, yeah, he's not bringing them home as fast as I would like. But guess who's trying to impede and prevent him from doing this? Oh, you guessed it, Democrats. The White House has ignored more than a dozen letters. Yes, love it. The White House has refused to share emails and correspondence requested in 12 letters from the House Oversight. Yes. As somebody who watched Republicans in the House, even though some of them were valiant, and like Jim Jordan and Devin Nunes and Matt Gaetz and Mark Meadows and all of these people, they were valiant, they were noble. Louis Gohmert, they tried to get as much information as they could, and the information they were trying to obtain actually relates directly to 18 U.S. Code 371. You're talking about individuals who conspired to lie to judges to get a warrant on Carter Page based on a Steele dossier that was not only unverified, it was complete nonsense, paid for by Hillary Clinton, which, by the way, was a campaign finance violation. I write about that in the Daily Caller. Check out my articles in the Federalist and the Daily Caller and the Jerusalem Post below. Check out HA2A also below. And if you want to support my voice long term, my Patreon is below. The move is intentional as the White House sees the requests from newly empowered Democrats as illegitimate, too expansive, or infringing on presidential privilege. This is what they're going to do. Trump and everyone associated with Trump is going to continue to ignore and refuse to comply. Sorry, ain't going to do it. Why? Because there's no crime that has taken place. The days where they can simply just demand people jump, and then the people will say, and then and they'll say, "Oh, how high? Oh, please, please." There is no Mueller probe. Congress is not a special counsel. Congress has to rely on the Department of Justice to acquire documents. That's why when Rod Rosenstein was hauled off before Republicans, when they held the House of Representatives, he just said, "I don't do the redacting, sir. Oh, sorry. It's an ongoing investigation. Gee, you can't help you. Oh, well." Rosenstein's not staying there indefinitely, by the way. There's a guy named Jeffrey Rosen. There's already a new Deputy Attorney General. He's going to leave once the Mueller report is out. He set up the Mueller probe, Rosenstein. He has to be there, almost certainly for public relations purposes. Because Democrats are going to be like, oh my God, our one link. They had Jeff Sessions for 2 years. He was gone. He basically was a Democrat, worked for the Democratic Party. Then they had Rosenstein, who set the whole thing up. And if Rosenstein leaves, Democrats can say, well, you know what? The whole thing's been compromised. So the Mueller report is going to be introduced, and whatever. It is what it is. He's still there. He's eventually going to leave. Jeffrey Rosen's going to take his place. Doesn't matter. At this point right now, President Trump, like I've stated every single segment recently, he's going to invoke executive privilege. He's able to do so. He's not going to be indicted, not just because of DOJ regulations regarding indicting a sitting president. If a president committed high crimes and misdemeanors, or if he actually committed a crime, then the special counsel could actually recommend indictments. But he didn't commit any crimes. The whole thing was fabricated. And what Democrats are going to do, they're going to have to ask the DOJ for help in acquiring the documents that they request or they demand. The DOJ and William Barr will then ask, well, what's the crime? What has Trump done? Why are you looking into this? Well, we're suspicious about his taxes. Is there evidence of a crime? Well, we think that he worked with Putin. Do you have any evidence that would suggest that he did? Well, he, because Trump sold weapons to the Ukraine, Obama didn't. Obama presided over over 20% of U.S. uranium capacity being sold to Putin. That happened. What people on the left say is just conspiracy, is the belief that money influenced President Obama's administration. Well, think of it this way. If Hillary Clinton could use an unencrypted server for 6 months and servers outside of the United States government for 4 years, I think she could probably grease the wheels when it came to a uranium sale. Because even now they're saying, well, it's just a commodity, it's no big deal. Yeah, you can build the most, the most lethal weapon ever created with uranium. And if it's a hostile, if Russia is indeed a hostile foreign power, why on earth would you sell them uranium? Why on earth would you preside over a sale? Why wouldn't you veto the sale? Even Snopes says this. So the New York Times, I quote only New York Times, Washington Post right here, CNN, Fox. This is public record knowledge. Cash flowed to Clinton Foundation amid Russian uranium deal. Money went in. The deal took place. You can't prove that it was Clinton. Well, she had a private server where she deleted 33,000 emails. She didn't give the FBI her servers without wiping them clean. So you're talking about overt obstruction of justice. And then you had the FBI working alongside her, not even asking how she transferred the emails. Then there was a consent agreement that the FBI had with Clinton that her lawyers set up where they couldn't ask for Clinton Foundation emails. They didn't even have, ladies and gentlemen, the most important part of this segment, well, the second most important part. The most important part is the fact that Trump is giving them a you-know-what. A gigantic middle finger. But the second most important part of this segment is the fact that the FBI did not have access and could not use Clinton Foundation emails to find out if that was the motivation behind the private server. They don't know why she used the private server, and they don't know exactly how she transferred government emails, top secret and special access program intelligence emails onto servers outside the U.S. government. If you have an idea, give me your thoughts below. How is that even possible from an intranet? I've had a couple of numerous amazing viewers who have explained their views as to how she was able to transfer that information. Then you have the Washington Post. Democrats counter that the White House refusal to engage is thwarting the legislative branch as it tries to carry out its fundamental duty of oversight. No. Oversight is when an actual crime or the existence or the existence of a crime is evident. You have corrupt law enforcement officials, two of the top ones are under criminal investigation right now. Andrew McCabe and James Baker, who, by the way, wanted to indict Clinton, which, by the way, shows that James Comey committed perjury because he said that it was a unanimous decision. Lisa Page also wanted to indict Clinton. They were overruled by James Comey. But when Republicans were trying to find out why the FBI lied to judges responsible for handing out warrants like candy to spy on an American citizen, Carter Page, that is a crime. It is a crime to lie to judges. It is a crime to use a Steele dossier that was complete nonsense. Where's the Clinton dossier? Where's the Trump purchased dossier to investigate Clinton? How about it will never, ever happen? Because they'll put on their thinking caps and they'll say, wait a second, Trump purchased a dossier. It's inherently a conflict of interest, and it's a bunch of nonsense because it's unverified. 2+ years later, Democrats are still worshiping this dossier that was purchased by Clinton. They don't get it. They don't have they don't have the capacity, logical reasoning skills. They can't even put two and two together. They have unbridled this quest for unbridled political power, and you see it culturally as well. You see it culturally as well. You see it in terms of, every aspect. Politically, they tried to frame and set up Trump, and they covered up Clinton's crimes. Socially, you see the biggest nonsense on social media, where it's one rule for anyone who's not on the left, and then another rule, compassion and forgiveness, if a person on the left writes a racist blog post, or if it's Joy Reid and she said the Russians hacked a blog that she wrote that was homophobic. And you even see it, ladies and gentlemen. I wasn't going to bring this up, but you even see it. You even see it. And if you look, if you go to the Baseball Hall of Fame and you watch Harmon Killebrews' 1984 induction speech, love Harmon Killebrew, love him, okay? This is about 6 minutes and 44 seconds in. You will see that even the Baseball Hall of Fame has surreptitiously succumbed to this nonsense that's going on today. Harmon Killebrew has an amazing story about how his mom and dad, he talks about how he loves his mom and dad, and he just talks about one of the memories he had is when, after they would go to the movies, his dad would race him home. I think he was with his brothers or his brother, and it was a very beautiful story. And then he talked about another memory he had where he was in the front yard, and him and his brother would start playing football or whatever, and they would obviously be tearing up the grass. And for the longest time, because I watch these Hall of Fame speeches, I love them. For the longest time, you could actually hear the whole entire story. And it was a beautiful, poignant moment where Harmon Killebrew said, and my mom would yell out, "Boys, you're tearing up the grass." And then my dad, and then he said, his dad would say, "We're raising boys, we're not raising grass." And it was a very poignant moment where Harmon Killebrew was kind of choking up, and I think the audience applauded, and it was a very beautiful moment. That is not allowed anymore because the Baseball Hall of Fame, if you look at 6 minutes and 40 seconds in, actually took that out of the Hall of Fame speech. Now, you don't usually get into this stuff, but that is what's taking place in our world today. But guess what? I already heard the whole Hall of Fame speech. I just conveyed it to everyone. So now everyone knows the actual Hall of Fame speech before the morality police, even at the Baseball Hall of Fame, deleted about 4 seconds of the speech. Literally, they deleted 4 seconds of a Hall of Famer's speech, Harmon Killebrew. And still they couldn't stop people from remembering one of the most important, beautiful segments of his breathtaking speech. So, ladies and gentlemen, Trump is saying, nah. Well, you better give us those documents. Nah. Oh yeah? Well, we're gonna go to the DOJ. Go ahead. William Barr's there. You don't have Sessions anymore. So Rosenstein's leaving after I get to look at the Mueller report and, redact it to shreds. The majority of individuals and groups targeted in House Judiciary Chairman Gerald Nadler's sweeping request for documents as part of an expansive Trump probe have missed the Nadler-imposed timeline. Just 8 of 81 agencies, entities, and individuals. 8 of 81. Okay? So 73 were like, sorry. You can, you know what? We don't care. It's not Mueller. It's not a special counsel. It's just going to try to ruin people's lives. The way Democrats are characterizing the response to their investigation is an exaggeration of epic proportions. Earlier this week, Democrats said the committee had received a response from a large number of recipients. No, they didn't. That's not accurate. In fact, it's hilarious, and it should be very embarrassing for the Democratic Party. They don't even... Ro Khanna, impeachment talks premature. Pelosi focused on the positive. They can't even impeach Trump. They don't even want to impeach the president after 2 years of filling the brains, whatever's left of their brains, filling the minds of their voters that Trump is a criminal in the Oval Office who is essentially a mob boss, and he worked with Putin to buy Facebook ads, to hack the DNC. He did all of these things. We had to have a special counsel every single day. They weren't focused on the Voting Rights Amendment Act of 2015 that John Conyers introduced. They don't care about voting rights. Democrats bring up certain policy objectives just for votes. They're not voting on the Voting Rights Amendment Act that John Conyers introduced. Why is that? Because they take their constituents for granted. They're not talking about an actual resolution that they can actually vote on to address climate change right away. It's an ambitious new goal. No, but no one's inspired. Absolutely nobody's inspired. And Mitch McConnell, to troll them, wants to vote on it. And Pelosi's like, you can't do that. You can't vote on a resolution that's absolutely not feasible at the moment. That's the thing. Where's the Medicare for All bill? So they did introduce a Medicare for All bill, okay? They're not championing this bill. They're not going to go into 2020 with double to triple tax rates or tax collection, the Mercatus study said. They're not going to go into 20. If you add up both the Medicare for All and the Green New Deal, it's something like around $130 trillion over the next 10 years. Sorry. It's $120 trillion, around that. If you look at the estimates, the high-end estimates, I think the low-end estimates is like, okay. So if there's a person that, well, so what, HA? It's feasible and we need to for the planet and people are losing their lives. Well, then vote on it. Then say, yeah, we're going to increase taxes this amount, and these are the bills, and we're going to pass it through a Democratic House. Ever wonder why AOC is not championing an actual bill for Medicare for All? When's the last time that any of these Democrats said, we are all going to vote on this Medicare for All bill tomorrow and pass it through and make Trump veto it? And this, you know what? I would actually respect them, because they would have tried. They would have at least tried. They don't care. Their only goal is deception. That's it. That's it. And if you inform people on the left of that, you're like this big monster and ogre. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. They're not listening to any requests. They don't care. How impotent must Democrats feel at this moment? Oh yeah, and you... Nah. What are you gonna do? We're gonna talk to Bill Barr. Go ahead. What you gonna do now? Got nothing. Got nothing. Mueller probe's wrapping up. You got nothing. You need a crime first. Lying to judges about spy warrants is a crime. You need a crime. Well, he did this with this. Where's the evidence? Not just your suspicion. Where's the evidence? Oh, no actual crime? You're just worried that something could possibly happen? Sorry. You actually have, you need probable cause, or you need some kind of criminal behavior. Like I said, Andrew McCabe, grand jury criminal investigation right now. Number 2 at the FBI, eventually was interim director. James Baker, the top FBI lawyer, James Comey's legal counsel, under criminal investigation. Peter Strzok, his text messages, "We'll stop Trump. We have an insurance policy." Okay? Clinton wasn't interviewed. You have massive cover-ups. You have setups. They've tried to frame Trump and all that. That's where you demand documents. Simply saying that we're going to start new investigations because the Mueller probe led to nothing is not a reason. And William Barr is going to just basically, it's like Democrats are going up for a layup, and Dikembe Mutombo is just, it's not happening. Democrats lose again. God, it must be horrible to always lose. You won the House. Actually, it's a great thing for Trump. It's the best thing that could have ever happened. Lost in 2016. Like I said, Clinton would lose in 2015. Losing now, losing with the Mueller probe, losing in 2020. What Senate, first time in 105 years that the party in the White House actually gained seats in the Senate. So, and also think of it this way, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody from Saturday Night Live, Jimmy Kimmel, all late night Hollywood, Washington Post, New York Times, MSNBC, CNN, every single media corporation, aside from Fox, and even Fox, half of Fox is anti-Trump, and they outspend Trump. And Trump is still persevering, and he's succeeding. And we have a great foreign policy now, much better, I should say, than President Obama's, who turned Libya into a failed state. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. This is absolutely breathtaking news. Share this segment everywhere. The tide has officially turned.